Hello friends, and welcome to the video. So we're on the next experiment in the Greg Goode book, The Direct Path, a User Guide. Here we're looking at, in this whole section of the witness, we're looking at dissolving the opaque witness. So we've got to this point and we've found that there's nothing outside awareness. And it's a temptation to put all of the mechanism that we saw hidden behind outside of awareness into behind awareness, so in awareness. So that's what's creating everything, causing everything. And here we are thinning out the opaque witness, this witness that hides stuff from us, until it becomes the transparent witness, and then eventually the witness dissolves completely and we get non-dual realization. So it's worth a try. We looked at the first video. There are 3 videos that I'm going to make on causation. So the last one was whether awareness has a cause, and now we're going to look at whether awareness causes arisings. And in the next video, we're going to look at whether arisings cause arisings. This one is, Greg Goode doesn't really go into it much. It's just a shorter experiment. I'll give a bit of background, just to give you some context, so you don't think it's fatalistic or anything like that. It's going to be worth it, I promise. Now, so what we're looking at here is, there's one analogy of a cinema screen with the film projecting on it. So we're going to be looking at whether the screen causes the film or whether it doesn't. Another one you could use is the snake and the rope analogy. We're going to look at, in our direct experience, if we can find, you look at the rope on the ground and you mistake it for a snake, so you see a snake. Now, we're going to see if the rope is actually changing itself or causing the snake to appear in any way. Traditionally, it's just an error. It's Maya. So we're going to look at that part. Now, so first of all, we begin, as with all the experiments, you relax. And here, just let some arisings arise, a few. They'll come and they'll go. And if you look at one in particular, is there a cause to that? Can you see in your direct experience some mechanism that's causing that arising? Is awareness creating this in some way, or is it just arising to awareness? Now, if you can see a cause, try to describe it as clearly as possible, or as well as possible, or really get to grips with what exactly you're seeing there as this cause that's making these arisings arise. Now that you see, that is an arising. So we've got the problem here. It's not a problem, it's actually the truth, that is also an arising, and that would also need an explanation. And you would go back and back and back. So anything that arises, and ideas about how things arise, concepts about how things arise, are also just arisings. We can look at it from a different angle. One of the reasons why causation is useful is because we use it to control what happens. This is tied into, well, if you really can control things that happen, then it can mean that you feel guilty that you didn't think correctly. So there's knock-on effects. It's the first error and the second error of Buddha. The first error is the pain, and the second one is all your mental ideas about it. So if we use causes, for example, a gardener, a farmer might plant a seed and water it and cause the plant to grow. So in that case, you'd be able to predict the arisings. You'd be able to predict your next thought, or you'd even be able to control your next thought. Now, so let the arising, see if you can predict the next thought that's going to arise. I think people who do a lot of meditation will realize immediately that this is thoughts think themselves, as I've heard somebody say. Is pretty difficult. They just appear. Now, can you cause the next thought to arise? So if I say, think of a dog, you probably just thought of a dog then, but can you create your next thought? Can you cause yourself to think the next thought? Or really, is that just tied into the present thought? And maybe if the next thought comes, it's all about causing a thought, not really, I'm going to think of a dog. Now I'm trying to think of a dog. It's not just thinking of a dog. It's not really in your control. There's no cause that's apparent there. And if you could see the cause, as we saw in the second step, that would also be an arising. So there you go. That's that experiment. The next one is, we could say it's even more challenging. It challenges our feeling that we can control things. So, and yes, it ties into things like blaming yourself and other things like that. This need to obsessively try to control everything. And this is that we're going to look at whether one arising causes another arising, specifically whether a thought causes an emotion. So you might be thinking right now, of course they do. We're going to look at that next time in our direct experience. Is this causal glue? Is this mechanism something that we can witness in our direct experience? Or is it just a concept that we're imposing on our direct experience? So I hope that's interesting or useful. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.